40 years ago in America, there was a horror movie that was a box office success and would become an iconic horror film series over the years with its story and the subsequent installments. I'm talking about the first installment of the Elm Street series, A Nightmare on Elm Street, which premiered in 1984. How did the Elm Street Nightmare series, also known as Freddy's Nightmares in our country, come about? Let's take a look together. The director, Wes Craven, known for many films and successful productions, most of which were horror-themed, was deeply affected by a news story he saw one day in the Los Angeles Times. The story mentioned a family fleeing from the civil war in Cambodia. In Cambodia, after the civil war, millions of people were killed and buried in areas called death fields. The children of a family fleeing from there have disturbing dreams. They tell how something is chasing them in their dreams and are very afraid to sleep. Their family thinks their children's condition is temporary and doesn't pay much attention to it. One midnight, when the parents wake up to the child's screams and go to check on them, they realize that their child died in his sleep while dreaming. This real-life event is quite common in underdeveloped countries, especially in the world. After reading this news, Wes Craven considers making the film A Nightmare on Elm Street. He starts writing the screenplay and wants the film to have a memorable and ruthless villain character instead of being an ordinary horror story. Thus, the character of Freddy Krueger, terrifying enough to enter people's nightmares, emerges. A Nightmare on Elm Street is one of the subgenres of slasher films, where a killer systematically murders the characters in the film. There are many films of this genre, some of which are Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Child's Play, known as Chucky, Scream series, and I Know What You Did Last Summer are some of those films. Elm Street is where Freddy Krueger terrorizes teenagers in their dreams. Freddy Krueger is a child murderer who was released due to insufficient evidence after killing more than 20 children. The families of the children living on Elm Street decide to take justice into their own hands and burn Freddy alive in the boiler room of the factory where he worked. This incident sets the stage for the entire story because Freddy continues to haunt the young people of Elm Street, invading their dreams and becoming the central focus of the movie. In the dreams, Freddy gruesomely murders the teenagers who are unaware of the true nature of their deaths, suspecting foul play in their friends' deaths and experiencing Freddy's presence in their own nightmares. They all share a common description of Freddy: a man with a severely burned face, wearing a brown, dirty hat, a red and green striped sweater, and a glove with razor-sharp knives on the fingers. Actor Robert Englund brilliantly portrays Freddy in the film. In the first movie, when the teenagers try to tell their parents about Freddy's attacks in their dreams, they are dismissed because Freddy was believed to be dead after being burned in the boiler room. However, Nancy Thompson, one of the characters, realizes that Freddy can still harm them in their dreams. She devises a plan to bring Freddy into the real world to defeat him. Throughout the series, Freddy returns despite his apparent deaths in previous films, which can seem implausible to viewers. However, each new installment finds a way to explain his resurrection. Additionally, characters from previous films may reappear in later installments, and sometimes characters who survive one movie may die in the next, leading to a diverse narrative flow. When Wes Craven first pitched the idea for A Nightmare on Elm Street to film studios, many rejected it, deeming the subject matter too disturbing. However, one producer saw potential in Craven's screenplay and provided a budget of $700,000 for the film's production. The total budget required was $1.1 million, with the remainder being financed by a Yugoslavian businessman in exchange for a role for his girlfriend in the film. Despite its initial challenges, the first film was a huge success, grossing $57 million worldwide. This success led to the creation of numerous sequels. While the films may not be everyone's cup of tea due to their disturbing content, they are praised for their effective horror elements, impressive special effects for the time period, and attention to detail in creating atmospheric scenes. Ultimately, A Nightmare on Elm Street is a classic horror franchise that has left a significant mark on the genre, blending elements of supernatural terror with psychological horror. Leatherface, Michael Myers, and Jason preferred not to have their own evil character masks. Instead, they opted to instill fear with their burnt faces and merciless demeanor. The reason for Freddy's return in subsequent Elm Street films was primarily due to box office success. Despite Freddy dying in some form in each film, the initial movie's doubling of its $1 million budget within the first week, resulting in the production company earning up to $57 million, led to this decision. In essence, the director originally conceived Elm Street's Nightmare as a one-time screenplay. However, the film production company wanted Freddy to return to generate more revenue and made an offer to the director. Thus, the motivation behind everything was to make more money. Nevertheless, despite all these factors, Elm Street Nightmare has solidified its place in cinema history as one of the most iconic horror films. What are your thoughts on this film? Don't forget to share your opinions in the comments. Until next time, goodbye.